All right, we are live. Welcome back to our daily live feed. As always, if you would like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing for women. And we'll give it a few minutes for everybody to get logged on. We have a live feed up on Instagram and on YouTube. I will be doing screen sharing on YouTube, so I have lots of video and things like that from the Ben Weider this past weekend. We're going to touch on the other pro shows as well. The only one we're not going to really talk about is the one that happened in France because we don't have pictures of that one yet. So I don't have anything I can talk about there. But there was a lot of shows that went on this weekend. It was like, I think there was 6 or 7 pro shows altogether. And there was 4 bikini pro shows, 1 wellness. It was a very busy weekend. It was a very busy weekend. So as we're waiting for everybody to get logged on here, not only that, at the end of all of this, we're going to talk about this whole natural show situation. I've had a lot of questions about that come in about, what quantifies a natural show and natural athlete and things like that. So we will go into that towards the end of this. So while we're waiting for everybody to get the notifications and get on here, if you have not gotten your ticket for Cuties Conquer the Stage yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. The ticket our ticket link is in my bio link on Instagram, and it is on the description box link on YouTube. We did open up the hotel room block today, so go ahead and grab your hotel room if you have not done that yet. We do have our private Facebook group that is up. So if you're not in there already, that is for, ticket holders only. But if you are a ticket holder and you're not in the Facebook group, you need to be so that you get updated when everything starts going live and all of that. Very excited to hear your take on natty shows. Well, I did this same kind of live feed about a year ago. Go figure, when the Ben Weider happened again last year. So, I'm just going to kind of reiterate some of that stuff, and the same principles hold true as what I talked about last time. So we're going to go into that at the end because it is always a hot topic. It's something I get asked about all the time. And this weekend was no shortage of questions in that regard. So we will go into it a little bit more. But we are going to talk about the other shows, as well. My predictions were kind of blown out of the water. It's very rare that happens, but this weekend, the results were kind of all over the place. Mainly because we had a late entry into the Nevada State, which was Ashley Kaltwasser, so she did win that show. And then the Minnesota show was completely like flip-flop from what I thought it was going to be. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. All I have to go on for those shows are pictures. I didn't see video. Obviously, I was very busy this weekend. Ben Weider was so busy that, I wear my watch for my sleep app, and my sleep app did not even register that I had slept on Friday night. So it didn't even think I slept at all. So that's how busy I was this weekend. So I did my best to try to keep up with everything, but some things happen, right? What's up, Raven? And thank you to Raven. Special thank you to Raven, because she came to my room at 4:00 in the morning and gave me coffee when I was doing hair and makeup. So I really appreciate that. Kept me fueled so I didn't fall asleep while I was doing the hair and makeup. That was fantastic. So yes, I appreciate it. There's something else I was going to mention. I just lost it. Went out of my head for a second, but I'm sure it'll come back. So we're going to start. Let's see. Where's my screen share? Where's the one I want? That is not what I want. Let's see what we got here. First thing I want to do, let me do this first, is I'm going to give a little shout out. We had one of our Pro Performer Promise winners that did her pro debut this weekend. She's a Masters Wellness Pro, and she did compete down in Daytona. Now, I know that particular show was incredibly crazy because of the hurricane and everything that happened there. So hang on one second. I'm trying to pull up these pictures. Hold on a sec. One sec. I got one picture up, but I got to get the rest of them up here. They switched venues, all sorts of stuff, and it was just nuts. What am I looking for? I have so many shows up, guys. This is going to be an interesting live feed. But anyway, so we'll just go with this. So yeah, the Ben Weider it was a really fun show. Plus, it was the Battle Royale as well. It was 2 shows in over 2 days. So Aisha is one of our pro performer promise winners, and she did make her pro debut this past weekend down at Daytona. I know she ran into some issues with her flight being canceled, so she actually drove down to Florida from Virginia just so that she could get on stage. So congratulations to her. I wanted to give her a quick shout out. We're not going to do too much on that show because it was all Masters pros. And what am I doing here? This is not what I'm looking for. Oh my goodness, there are so many shows that I'm trying to get the pictures up for. Sorry guys, I'm a little disorganized. I thought I was organized, but I'm not. Okay, so we are going to do Nevada. We're going to do Nevada first. So let me share this. Here we go. Okay, so Ashley did win this. Again, she wasn't on the list when we initially previewed the show, so she wasn't even in our top 5 because she wasn't on the list. Obviously, if she was on the list, we would have put her in the top 5, would have put her there winning, that kind of thing. So same show, Miriam Jenkins looked fab and looked pink suit on her. Cool. And then, so what we did say was we thought that, I'll say this. I thought that Ariel and Alexandria would be in the top couple of spots. Obviously, they were 5th and 6th here, as you can see. And then we had a few like pro debuts and things like that in here. And then Victoria, she actually placed top 5 in San Antonio. So she came in 2nd here to Ashley. So from what I saw, I'm going to pull these pictures too, so you can take a look at them. But from what I saw, this was definitely an improved package for Victoria. But I wanted to pull up Ariel really quickly and just talk about her real quick. I mentioned before, Ariel has a fantastic look. She's beautiful. She's got an amazing stage presence, all of that. But something's been going on this year where she hasn't been able to nail her conditioning. And you can see it right here. She's soft. She looks like she's, I don't know, 4 weeks out, maybe something like that. I'm not really sure. It could be the lighting and things like that too. But you can tell that her conditioning was just a little bit off from the front and from the back. And her posing is a little bit wonky too. I noticed this at this particular show that she's really pushing forward on this pelvis. And I'm not sure why. This needs to be pushed back in order to get the shape to really pop, because the way that she's standing right now, she looks really straight. So I'm not sure what's going on with the posing here. I believe she's competing again this coming weekend. So hopefully her conditioning will be a little bit better. But what I'd also like to see is I'd like to see her poses be a little bit better. So I think if she can come in, she needs to get that conditioning under control. I think she would do very well. But this pose also has to be adjusted. And it's not just one pose. And if you look through all of her shots, this is her front pose. So something's going on with that. She just needs to push back and really get that tilt in her lower back going so that she can really accentuate her shape a little bit better here. She has a phenomenal shape. Like I mentioned before, she has the ability to be a top 10 Olympian, I believe. But she, for some reason, is just not getting that conditioning like we really need her to. And it's been a consistent thing that I've critiqued her on this year. I'm not sure what's going on with the conditioning aspect, but you can see here, she's got amazing shape. She's got great width through here and all that stuff too. She's just not quite tight enough. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Hopefully she can get that worked out so she can bring her true, best self to the stage. Now, the other one that we talked about for this show was Alexandria Ross. So let me pull her pictures up too. This is the first time she's been on stage in a while. I feel like maybe Olympia was the last time she was on stage. I don't know if did she qualify for Olympia this past year? I thought she did. I could be wrong on that. But the same thing with Alexandria. Alexandria needs some posing tweaks too. She's not quite tilted into this, and she's again looking very straight up and down. And she, to me, looks really top heavy here. So she, like, this is a good look up here, but she's just lacking in the glute and hip area. And I don't know if that's just her shape at this time or if it's her posing or what it is, but this needs to just create more shape here. And she's another one that her conditioning was off. So let me pull up and get a back shot, and I'll show you what I mean from the back too. Here's a back shot. So she's just she needs a little bit more size here in the glutes. She needs to tilt some more in that lower back. Again, same issue that we were talking about from that front pose. Yeah, the dramatic black suit. She wears the black suit all the time. Black is like her look. That's her thing. So works well for her. But like you can see here, she's got great width and shoulder caps up top. It's just she's not matching that on the bottom. She's not balanced. And some of it is her posing, but I think she also needs some glutes. And her conditioning is just not quite there too. So she's got great calves down here and everything, but the glutes just need to come up. So I don't know if she's planning on competing again or not, but that would be a lot of this, I think, for both her and Ariel is posing. Posing and conditioning. But in Alexandria's case, I would say she also needs some glutes too. Let's see. So we just talked about those two. Alice Rocha. Now, I'm not familiar with this girl. This girl is this 5th place or is it 4th? 4th place. So I'm not really familiar with this girl at all. But holy crap, when we're talking about a cartoon shape, this is a cartoon shape. It's actually too cartoonish. And a lot of this is her posing. This is a ridiculous shape. Okay. So she is just teeny tiny waistline. But the problem here is she's pushing way too hard in this lower back. She needs to stand up tall. She's the opposite of Alexandria and Ariel right now, right? She's pushing way too much. It's really over exaggerating that shape too much. She needs to stand up taller and pull that in a little bit. And come a little bit more straight on. Now, when girls go too far to the side, we lose that illusion of the shape of the waist and things like that. So she actually needs to come a little bit more straight on with her waistline and just stop tilting quite so much. This is just too much here. It's a crazy look. Like all I can think of is like Jessica Rabbit, like super curvy. But it's actually too much. It's actually too much. So she needs to just calm it down a little bit. And you can really see that when you turn her to the back. So, oops, hit the wrong button. Let me pull that back up. Let me get a back shot up and I'll show you what I mean from the back pose. Because the other part is when you push too hard on these poses, you flatten out your glutes. So when we pull up her back shot, you'll see what I mean. So from here, you can see she is really flat on the top of her glutes here. And that's because she's just pushing too hard. She's just pushing too hard. If she stood up a little taller, her glutes would round out a whole lot better. This is just for those of you girls that need flexibility in your lower back, go talk to this girl because she's got it. I don't know. It's like physically, like almost humanly impossible. I don't know how she's doing this right now. But she's actually pushing too much. She needs to stand up a little taller. That'll actually help her round out quite a bit because she has like I said, phenomenal shape, really good muscle, really good pop, really good fullness, but it's her posing is just too much. Her posing is too extreme. So if she fixes those things, she's going to be very, very good. Very, very good. So let me pull up next one. So I believe, so 3rd place is Caitlin, and I believe this was her pro debut, which is great to take a third place in your pro debut. To me, she looks great, but I think she's a little soft. Her conditioning up through the upper half specifically, like I'd like to see her open up a little bit more in this upper half. I think that would really accentuate her shape more. She needs a little bit more shoulder cap right here. This portion of her is about perfect. This is about perfect. That fullness, that roundness, that pop, all of that. I just like to see her open up a little bit more through this upper body and maybe a little bit more shoulder cap and just a touch tighter. But again, if this is her pro debut, this is a really, really good pro debut. So good shape. She's just got a few tweaks she's got to make. Let's pull up. And I am going to blow through these people pretty quickly tonight because we have a lot to cover. So I'm not going to go into super depth. Plus, all we have in this particular show is photos. So I didn't see video. So from the back, again, she's got great shape from the back. To me, she's just a touch too soft. She needs to come in a little bit more conditioned, and she's a little bit more shoulder. Same thing from the back, like same thing from the front and back. She just needs a little more shoulder cap up here to complete her balance, and she needs to be a little bit tighter. But overall, really, really good shape for her, especially again for her pro debut. Really, really good. Let's see, and then Victoria. So Victoria took second. My critique of her last week was on her posing. I felt like she had a better physique than what she was showing in her posing, at least from the San Antonio photos. And now we didn't have a lot of pictures from San Antonio, so I could have just seen off poses. But what I see here is a much better pose. This is a much better front pose on her. She's a very pretty girl. She's just got a very stunning look to me, and her face, like her face is just very stunning to me. I think this is actually a really good look for her. She may have been a touch too hard. I don't know. I can't really tell from these pictures if she's too hard or not. She's definitely harder than the other girls, and you can kind of see it here in her quads, how she has some graininess happening right here. She might just be a little bit over. She's got some splits in her quads and things like that. But overall, this is much better than what she showed at San Antonio. So really good job with the improvement there. And like I said, she's got a very stunning face. That's just the first thing I noticed about her. Let's see. Whoops. Wrong one. Get a back shot for her. And she fixed a lot of the things I mentioned from the back shot too. This still could be better. So the issue in San Antonio is her hair was too long and it was covering the top of her glutes. So she cut her hair. So that's good. She's not pushing quite so hard at San Antonio. Again, she was pushing really hard in this back pose, which was flattening her out quite a bit from the back. Now she's not. Now she's got some fullness and some pop there. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think she's from Poland. I think. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think she's from Poland. And then her upper body, she's got some nice caps on her shoulders, but I'd like to see these arms a little bit bent. Like right now, they're almost too straight down. Just pull that hand up like a quarter of an inch, that kind of thing. And I think that would be really good. That would just balance her out, because when you go so straight like this, it makes you look straight up and down, right? But this is a much improved back pose from where she was at San Antonio. So whatever her feedback was in San Antonio, she took it and she ran with it. So really good job here. Just again, needs to tweak a little bit. And she does have those diamond drops in her glutes. So I do believe she's just a touch too hard. So yeah, she lives in Vegas. Okay. So I do think she's just a little bit too hard, just a little, not a lot, just a little. She just needs to fill out and soften up just a touch. But again, really, really pretty girl, and very good improvements from last week. And that's what you want. You want to improve from week to week. So good job right there. And then we have Ashley winning this. So again, our predictions were completely off because we did not know Ashley was going to compete in this show. So she threw us all off. So let me find a front pose for her. Let's see. Here's a good one. Okay, so front pose for Ashley. She seems to be a little bit too straight on to me. I don't think she was quite this straight on at the Arnold. I think she was a little bit more twisted. She just needs a touch more twist in this hip bone right here. I do see a little bit of that lower ab distension that we sometimes see on her. Could have just been because she was traveling, from the UK and everything like that. So, it's a good package. It's just not as good as it was last week. I did hear her say something about this was a different suit. It doesn't have the purple trim on it, which I think this is better than what she wore at the Arnold UK. But again, I'm still a fan of just plain red on her. Again, not a bad package by any stretch of the imagination. I just don't think it was her best. Needs to be a little bit tighter, a little bit twisted here. Let's take a look at her back pose. One thing I did notice on her back pose is she's a little off on her symmetry in her back pose. And I think, again, that's probably due to posing a lot and traveling a lot. So when you look at this back pose, see what I'm talking about here. See how she's kind of tilted? So she's squished on this side versus this side, right? This is her front pose side right here. When she turns around to the front, this is the side that's towards the judges. So she is tight right in here. And that happens a lot, you guys. I point this out because I tell all of you that I work with when it comes to posing that you need to be posing on both sides. You need to be posing on both sides because that will help to loosen this up and keep you balanced from the back. Now, again, she just competed in the Arnold UK, so, she just didn't even have a week to even go in and recover. So she's probably just locked up through there, and that's why we're seeing this tightness through here. But this is why it's so, so important to pose on both sides. Doesn't mean that you have to put both sides on stage, but it just keeps your body balanced, keeps your body balanced, right? podcast, she said she dropped weight fast on the flight home and they had to feed her up into the show. I did hear that. And yeah, she's a little bit soft. She's not, again, this isn't her best look. It's still good enough to win this show, obviously. But after being on stage less than a week prior to this showing, she did pretty well. So again, I would just watch this, make sure she doesn't get too locked up in here and just get that worked out. But yes, there's another win for Ashley Kaltwasser. Okay, we're going to go to, get rid of that one. We're going to go to Minneapolis next. We do need to be mindful of that. Yes, you absolutely need to be mindful of that. So Minneapolis was I only have photos from this. Again, I don't have video or anything like that. So I can't tell a lot from these photos, but honestly, like I was a little surprised looking at some of these placings because they were almost flipped from what we normally see. So, we talked about Maria being a potential winner here. We've talked about Erin Dennis being in the top call out. We talked about Danielle Combs being the top of the call out. We talked about Alessia. Alessia is always first or second or third, somewhere in there. And all of them were down towards the bottom. They were in the second call out. So I'm not sure what happened at this show, if everybody was just off or what. This is a little different, So I didn't go through everybody's photos, but let's start with Alessia and work our way up. And actually, I didn't even look through her photos. So let's pull up a good front shot of her first. Here we go. There's a good one. I will say the lighting's a little bit difficult on this particular show. So if I'm just looking at her, and again, this is her by herself, I don't know in the lineup what it looks like. It looks like to me she's pretty soft. She's competed a lot. She's competed back to back to back to back, and it looks like her body's tired. It's almost like she's starting to lose a little bit of muscle, a little bit through here. She's looking really straight up and down, that kind of thing. So, I don't know. I do think she was in first call out, but she was, because she was fifth. So she was in first call out. But it's rare that we'll see her at the bottom of that first call out. Usually she's towards the top. So, I would say just based on the photo that I'm looking at here, she might need to take a little bit of a breather, right? I don't know how many shows she's done in a row at this point, but she's done a lot. She's been competing a lot back to back. And it looks like she just needs to take a little bit of a rest. Let me see what her back shot looks like. From the back, she's always going to look decent. It's always her front is where we see the issues and stuff. But like you can see, look at this right here. Look at how crunched up that looks really painful. It's almost like she's got an impingement or something right here in her upper back and her lats. And we're seeing that flatness again through her upper glute. If I was her, I'd take some time off. Just take some time off the stage and just take a minute and a breather. Because again, we're seeing imbalances in her glutes. We're seeing the flatness on the top of her glutes. That's a tired body. When you're competing week after week after week after week after week, you got to give yourself a break. And I think it's time for her to give herself a break. She's going to Olympia. So, you don't want to run your whole body down before you get to Olympia, right? But this, I don't know if, I guess she's got on this side too. So I don't know if this is just the photo or what, but that looks really strange. Like it's almost like she's really locked up in her back. I don't know if that's just the camera angle, but it looks like she's locked up in her back. So yeah, I would just say take a break, take a breather, qualify for Olympia. Just you give yourself a chance to breathe for a second. Let's see. Kiki. So Kiki has been competing quite a bit this year, but this is her first top 5 placing. Let me see if I can find her front shot. Here we go. Okay. And based on this shot, I would say this is a pretty good look for her. She's a little top heavy. If you look at this, you can see that she's really wide through her back and her shoulders. and then not quite as wide through her hips and her glutes. So, you know, if I was working with her, I would probably have her tone down this pose, you know, bring that shoulder in a little bit and relax it, because it does throw her balance off quite a bit. She's pretty tight here. You know, we're seeing some graininess and stuff like that through the hips and the glutes, but at the same time, she's looking kind of full too. So if you're tight and you're full, you know, that's a good thing, right? But the biggest thing I would say here is I would just try to tone this upper body down a little bit, and also this suit top, I would pull it up. It's almost like it's cutting off her waistline. She's got a short torso. So I don't know exactly where her breast tissue ends, but I would like to see this top come up a little bit. I think that would help her look a little longer through the waist. And that would probably help balance her out a little bit here too. But again, this is her first time in the top 5, I think, this year. So this is an improved package for her. Let's see what we got from the back on her. And she's a small competitor, so it's hard sometimes when you're small to get those angles correct, you know. Here's a back shot. So from the back, she looks pretty good. From the back, she's nice and full. She's one that tends to be a little bit heavier in the legs than she is in the glutes, but this is pretty balanced, you know, pretty balanced through the shoulders, pretty balanced through the glutes. She's got some nice pop to the glutes and everything here too. So I would say this is a pretty good pose for her. This is a pretty good look for her in her back. And, you know, I think her hair hits right where it should, because then we see the smallness of her waist right here. All of this looks pretty well balanced. I would just really continue to fine tune that front pose if I was her. And just making sure that you get that nailed so that you look show your shape the best. Let's go to Samantha. I'm not familiar with Samantha, so let me find a good front pose for Samantha. See, again, a lot of these names, I don't know these girls. Like when we talked about predictions and stuff, y'all completely blew my predictions out of the water. I was wrong on like everyone. So I don't know. All right. Okay. So here's Samantha. So she kind of has the opposite issue of Kiki. So she's really long through the torso here, right? So she's a little fuller though. I will say that she's a little fuller than Kiki. She's nice and tight, but you see fullness. You don't see that graininess in through the hip and the quad that we were talking about with Kiki. So I can see where she kind of pulled ahead probably here. I'd like to see her kind of tweak this front pose a touch, but it's pretty good for her frame, I think. I think it's pretty good for her frame. I think she's pretty close. Maybe just pull the toe open a little bit and just open that hip up a little bit. But she's pretty well balanced here. And it's a pretty look too. It's a pretty look. Let's see what we got from the back. Here's a back shot. Okay, so again, nice shape from the back. Nice pose from the back. However, it looks like to me that she is squeezing her glutes. Whenever you see these harder angles on the outer part of the glute, and it looks a little bit flat right through here, this tells me she's flexing. So I don't want to see flexing here. She's flexing this glute more than she's flexing this one. You can see the difference. You can see that this is flat right here and this is not. So she is flexing back here, some form or fashion of flexing. That's why she's getting that kind of pointiness on the outer part right here, all of that. So that I would definitely look at and pay attention to so you don't end up getting that flatness in the glute. And this could just be an in-between kind of shot where she's moving, but regardless, you don't want the judges to be able to see any kind of flexing in the back. Balance-wise, nice width through the upper body and shoulders and all of that. But I would just be really careful about the flexing through here. It's a great pose except for that. So that's the one piece I would be paying attention to. So let's go Samantha. So now we're on Lizzie. So Lizzie was one we mentioned may be up in this top because she was third at San Antonio. And I did look through her photos earlier before I pulled them up. She is one I did look through. And she did fix some posing stuff. So her front pose is a lot better. Let me see if this is where she's kind of moving a little bit. Let me see if I can find where she's more relaxed. They took a lot of pictures at this show. So she's still got some muscle memory built up where she's really, here we go. Now she's starting to get a little bit more relaxed here. She's got some muscle memory built up where she's a little bit too rigid, but when she actually settled into the pose, she got more comfortable. And I don't know if that's the right word I'm looking for, but one of the things I mentioned that I'd like to see her fix was like her shoulders were uneven at San Antonio, and she got to the point where she's pretty even in her shoulders. Hand, she brought that down a little bit and relaxed it a little bit. She could still relax a little bit more, but again, I think this is her kind of settling into the pose. Once she got into it, she looked a lot more confident than what I saw from her at San Antonio, and a lot more balanced than what I saw from her at San Antonio. So she did actually fix her posing quite a bit from the last show, and it just looked better. It looked more confident, looked more relaxed. I know it's not relaxed, but it looks more relaxed. Not quite so rigid. Where I felt like she really improved her pose a lot was on her back pose. Let me get to the back. One of the things I mentioned with her at San Antonio is that her pose was very leg heavy from the back in San Antonio. And this show she wasn't. So let me get to a back shot so you can see she did fix it. And it played very much better for her. So you can see here in this shot that she's got her toes quite a bit more forward. So her legs aren't the dominant feature like they were in San Antonio. So she did fix that. She's got some great pop here to the glutes and everything too. So that's really good. And the upper body looks pretty good too. She could still probably tweak it a little bit more, but this is a very, very good improvement over what she did at San Antonio. So she definitely, she got her feedback, which was probably similar to what I mentioned. And she looked like she applied it. So really good job with that. I definitely noticed that right away. Okay. Now we are at the winner, which is Marie Eve. Now I believe this was her second pro show, I think. We talked about her a few weeks ago. I can't remember which show it was that we talked about her, but she took second at a show recently. And looks like from that last show, she did actually tweak her poses quite a little bit. She doesn't look quite as hard as her last show, which is good. She looks a little bit fuller, a little bit rounder. And she doesn't look like she's posing quite as extreme as she was. Was it Sasquatch? Okay. This is a better, again, it's a little bit more relaxed on her posing. The last time she posed, it was just a little bit too much. Like she was yanking and things like that. I don't see that here. It looks like she's a little bit more relaxed and just letting her shape show. She's got nice full glutes and nice round shoulders to match, which looks really a lot better than the last show that she was in as well, which I guess was Sasquatch, is what Shanika was just saying right here. So let me find a back shot for her. Here's one. And she has a great back shot. Glutes are nice and full. I don't know. The only thing I would probably tweak on this is just, again, the arms. The arms are pretty good. She's got a nice curve in the arms. I don't know, maybe pull them out just at like a quarter of an inch, just a little bit, just so we see a little bit more space there, but that's very minimal. But from the back, she's standing up nice and tall. She's got that roundness in her glutes, and you can see she's got that pop to her glutes, but it's not square. Like I was mentioning, that one girl had that squareness to her outer glutes. She does not have that squareness. It's round, right? So that's the difference right there. She is pretty tight, but she's got those diamond drops through her hamstrings here too, but they're not quite connected. So I do see she's fuller. She probably needs to fill out even just maybe a little bit more, so that she's not quite so hard through here. But at the same time, maybe not. It just could be the lighting. So from what I'm seeing, I feel like this is an improvement over her last showing, and I do think that it's pretty clear why she won. So I think this was a really good package for her, and I think she'll probably, I don't know if she's gonna do anything more till Olympia, but if I was her, I probably would. I would probably do at least a couple more shows just to kind of test some things and try some things and make sure that the posing presentation is on point for Olympia. Because her body doesn't look tired at all. It looks like she could continue to go. So I would probably do a couple more shows just to continue to refine the posing and presence aspect of it for her. Okay, so let's move to, so that's your winner there. We're going to go to Ben Weeder next, and we're going to talk about wellness really quickly, because I did not get a chance to watch wellness. Even though I was there, I didn't get a chance to watch wellness because I was backstage with the Bikini girls. This show, for those of you that were there, you know, it was a very, very long show. They had 200 NPC competitors when they had less than half of that the year before. So they weren't expecting that. So pros were supposed to start at 3 o'clock, and they didn't start till 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, something like that. So it was a very, very, very long day. And then when they went into finals, they literally just did top fives and off stage. So I had to run backstage when the girls were going in between prejudging for Bikini and into finals and just all that stuff. So I was back and forth. So unfortunately, I didn't get to watch wellness. But it came down to the two that we thought it was going to. It was Rachel and Mallory. So this is Rachel right here, and this is Mallory right here. And I wanted to go through the comparisons a little bit because I thought they were very comparable until you got to the back shot. So even from here, I can give an argument that it was Rachel, right? I'm saying the right name, right? I want to make sure I'm not saying the wrong name too, because I just pulled up their comparisons and just kind of started with it. So let me make sure I didn't screw up their names. Yeah, Rachel. Okay, I got it right. So even from the quarter turns and things like that, 3.5 hours behind. Yeah, it was a long day. It was a very long day, you guys. It was a very, very long day. So from the quarter turns, I can give an argument to Rachel. I felt like she was actually a little bit better conditioned, a little bit more fullness to the quads here than Mallory. And this is Mallory in the red right here. So let's just kind of go through this. Even from the front pose, I honestly would probably give it to Rachel from the front pose. Mallory has a little bit more size here, but to me, this was just a little bit more clean, a little bit better conditioned to me. It was long. Yeah, it was very long. It was very long. So right here, it's a coin toss between these two right here, but I honestly would give the front pose to Rachel. So I'm going to kind of scroll through this. And as you kind of move a little bit, now I see Mallory kind of coming into play. She's moving. We get that waistline V in a little bit more, that kind of thing. I see it, it's very, very tight between the two of them. So now you can see they just got switched. Okay. So now Mallory's in the center. Now this right here is where Mallory took over. So Rachel actually, like you can see here, Rachel is better conditioned, but Mallory has the size. And Mallory's pose is better too. If I was Rachel, I would come up on the knees. She's bent a lot in those knees right there. If she came up on the knees a little bit, I think that might help her pop her quads a little bit better. I'm sure that this was something she probably played with a little bit to find the right spot that was going to accentuate her the best. But you can see right here, her quads are definitely not as big as Mallory's, and Mallory's are better balanced here. So we're going to kind of go through this a little bit. So, honestly, from the front and from the quarter turns, I could see, Rachel being in that first place position, but from the back is where Mallory took it. So, and then we're getting into the call outs here. Overall though, I will say this show last year, there was only 3 girls in the Wellness Pro Show. This year, the quality was a lot better than last year, as far as the number of competitors and the quality of competitors in wellness at this particular show. So let me pull this up real quick. So we had 10 competitors. As you can see that. I'm just gonna pull up Mallory and Rachel, really. Those are your main contenders here. So Mallory has a very pretty look, and I actually really like it for wellness. However, I'm going to say this too. She's going to need to get some size and some conditioning for Olympia. She's going to definitely get outsized the Olympia. I really like this look. I think it's a really pretty wellness look. But I think she needs some size, and I do think she needs to be better conditioned. I think she can do the conditioning by Olympia, 100%. The size part's going to be hard. But again, really pretty look. I really do like this look. She just needs to be bigger. Let me pull up a back shot of her. So again, really nice look from the back, but she's going to need to be better conditioned through the hamstrings and all of this, and she's going to need some more size. So I'm curious to see what she does between now and Olympia. I don't know if she's going to compete anymore, but again, overall, her shape and her frame is really nice. She just needs some more size and more conditioning. Let me grab. Rachel. All right, we'll go ahead and share this. So Rachel, on the other hand, like I said, I actually preferred Rachel's conditioning. You can see she's just a little bit tighter through the waistline, all of that kind of thing. But again, size, right? So size needs to come. So let's see. I think I liked her package here better than the Texas show she did too. So yeah, this is a really pretty look on her. I'd like also just a note. I'd like to see her face a little darker. Face was a little light for her body. But yeah, this is a great shape. Again, she needs to have a little bit more size, Keep this kind of conditioning, but more size, right? Let me pull a back shot up. And here's her back shot. So here in her individual, she stood up a little taller in her back pose, which was good. I think this is better. But you can see she's really got those toes out really far, trying to display the quads and everything, which is smart. That's good. That's a good thing. You should do that. But that's just also her just needing some more size here. And I see now kind of probably why she bent into her knees a little bit, because that pulled her a little tighter. She looked a little tighter through the hamstrings and stuff when she was in her comparisons than what she does right here. So I get all of that. I understand. This was just a size game at this point for her. So just keep building, keep growing. So y'all behind the stream, but so proud of the cuties that hit the stage this weekend. Yes. Sorry, I'm noticing the comments coming in right now. So I'm trying to blow through this quickly because we've already been on here for 45 minutes and I've still got another category to go yet. So, but yeah, again, overall, I thought this was a very competitive lineup, especially for a quote unquote natural show, right? It's probably one of the bigger wellness shows we've seen all year, actually. So, let me see if there's any other noteworthy stuff. The rest of these girls, a lot of them just need size. A lot of them have a really good shape. They just need size. Like they look like they're, they if they died a little bit more, they would be bikini, that kind of deal. So that's the scenario across the board with the rest of the girls in the wellness. But the top two was actually very, very good. So and again, a lot of these girls have great shape. They just need size or they just need conditioning, that kind of thing, right? Let's go to Bikini. And I do have video from Bikini. So let me go ahead and pull that up. Let's share that. I should be able to, I hope. Hopefully it'll work. Okay. Okay, so this is first call out for Bikini. So as we know, Maya did win this show. This is her right here. And then Anne-Marie was in second. So I'm just going to let this kind of play through so you can see how the first call out went. This is actually a very competitive lineup. Again, I keep using the caveat of a natural show, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But it was very, very competitive from top to bottom. So really, really good showing. Again, Maya did win this, and that's what we predicted. Predicted Maya in first with Anne-Marie and Lana in those top three. Which is basically how that went. And then Leslie Billups, I did mention her during our preview too. She was in third. Lana was in fourth. Fifth was actually Brittany, who's here on the end, who made her pro debut. She won her pro card at this show, and she decided to jump in. That's the cool thing about this particular show, is that the girls and guys that won their pro card that day could jump into the show that day as well. So she did jump in, and she actually placed fifth. And then Flora over here placed sixth. Let's see, tall girls in the top two. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's been going that direction quite a bit. We see a lot of these taller girls in the top two. Now, I want you to watch this comparison between Anne Marie and Maya, because I had a really hard time determining who's going to win this show, to be perfectly honest with you. So just watch this through as they kind of compare and go back and forth. They did turn them quite a bit. They did compare them quite a bit. They brought them out for confirmation round again, and all of that as well. And I asked this question on my stories, if I thought, and somebody asked if I thought that Anne Marie was better from the back than Maya. And honestly, it was a coin toss. And the reason why I say that is because Maya has amazing glutes. To me, when I was watching this show, her pop and her glutes wasn't quite as good as it was at Battle of the Bodies. I felt like Battle of the Bodies was better, but you still can't deny the fact that Maya has amazing glutes. However, she also has those legs. We talked about this when we were wrapping up Battle of the Bodies. Those legs are kind of overpowering here. So, Anne Marie was better balanced. She was better balanced through her glutes and through her legs. So it was very difficult for me to choose between the two of them, right? Brittany was sixth. Oh, was Brittany sixth? I thought she was fifth. Okay, I got that wrong. Sorry. My bad. I'm doing all this by memory, you guys. It was a long week. So anyway, they're fifth and sixth, respectively. Flip-flop them, that kind of thing. But from the front, I did feel like Maya won this from the front, mainly because of the shoulder cap on Maya. I felt like Anne Marie's just got a ridiculous waistline, and her shape into her lat is phenomenal, but she doesn't have much of a shoulder cap up there in comparison to Maya. So from the front, I think from the front is kind of where Maya edged out. From the back, it was kind of a coin toss. So, and I say that because of the fact that I felt like Anne Marie was better balanced from the back, but I felt like Maya had better glutes from the back. So it was like six in one hand, half dozen the other, that kind of thing. So I honestly, when they got off stage, I wasn't sure who was in first and who was in second. I could have gone either way with both of them. So, they did a great job judging this and everything. And something else that somebody mentioned, as far as, let me stop screen share a second. Something somebody else mentioned in the questions is they asked me if, let me see if I got that. Do I have the confirmation round? I don't think I have the confirmation round in here. I was going to look and see if maybe I do. I think, no, maybe I do. Yes, I do have the confirmation round. So let me pull that up. Okay, so here's the confirmation round. They asked me if the criteria changes from in natural shows, and the answer to that is definitively no. The criteria is the same no matter what show you are in. The criteria is the criteria is the criteria. Does not matter. It's whoever gets closest to that criteria. So this is your top four confirmation round. They're flipping them around a little bit, that kind of thing. I pretty much thought that Leslie was going to be in third. From the back, I actually think that Leslie had one of the better back shots on the stage. From the front, she lacks a little bit in the shoulders, but from the back, I thought her glutes were very good. This is the best I've seen her look from the back, in my opinion. So I pretty much assumed she was going to be in third. And that also made me think that that's why Maya was going to win this, because from the back, I felt like the glute concept from the back was Maya's shot. But again, looking at it, it could have gone either way. Again, going back to the fact that Anne Marie's just better balanced and Maya's got the better glute pop. So which one do you go with, right? But overall, very, very good top four here. Very, very good top four here. I'm going to be honest and say that, Lana, I like your red suit. If you happen to watch this, I like your red suit better than the green. Just going to put that out there right now. I know you're competing again, but I would go back to red. I think red was better on you. And you just need some more fullness, I believe, overall. So, but again, really good top four. So let's go ahead and pull up their pictures very quickly. and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let's go with Lana. They screwed up this is why I got mixed up on the scoring. Let me show you. I'll show you exactly why. Because I went back on here and I noticed that they did this when they put everybody's pictures up. So if you notice, they put Brittany and Leslie in third. Brittany should be in sixth. Flora was fifth, right? So this is where the mistake was right here. So I love her red too. It's so her and what I always think of it. Yes, I agree, 100%. I think it looks better on her skin tone personally. So we're gonna go with Flora since she's in fifth here, and we'll show her real quick. Flora is just a little bit soft and just needs a little bit more size, specifically from the back. Beautiful look, beautiful girl. Like when you look at her again, just a stunning look. She again just needs some more size, and she's just a little soft. You know, she's nice fullness, but she needs to be a little bit harder. And then when we pull her to the back, from the back, she just needs some more size. And I also think that her suit cut is also affecting this too. I saw this in person at Nashville. This is too much material back here for her. It's just pulled down too far. I think she needs to pull up a little higher and come in and squeeze it in a little bit more, just so that we don't see all fabric right there. I think that's making her glutes look smaller than they actually are. She's got some really nice structure here, but she just needs more size. She needs more size in her glutes. Okay, I'm gonna go to Leslie Billups. So again, I thought Leslie had one of the better back shots of the show, where she needs to improve a little bit. She needs some, again, size and a little bit tighter. Size and a little bit tighter from the front. Size here in the shoulders specifically just needs to be a little bit tighter. And then from the back, she's not fully posed there. Here we go, fully posed from the back. Again, I thought she had one of the better back poses up there. Nice and full, nice and tight, nice pop to the glutes, all of that. She might be able to stand up a little taller. That would probably make her glutes fill out a little bit. I think she's arched a little bit too much here. So maybe come up a little higher and not arch quite so much. And that might help with a little bit more fullness here. Nice pop in the shoulders from the back. But I'd like to see a little bit more width through that back as well to match her lower half. She's just a little small in her upper body in comparison to her lower. But again, I think this is probably one of the better packages that she's put on stage thus far. So good job with that. Oh, we don't want to go there. Hold on. And then Anne-Marie. So I think this was the best look I've seen on Anne-Marie. And before, actually, I'm not going to show her pictures. I'm going to show her routine. I pulled her routine up specifically for a reason. Let's see, where is it? There it is. And I'm going to share this while we talk about her. Okay, so Anne-Marie, I gave her props already in person, and I loved the fact that she walked out there, hit her front pose, held it, did her transitions, held it, hit her back pose, held it, came back around to the front, held it, and walked off stage. This is the first time I've seen a pro do this in a while. And honestly, I wish more would do it. She got rid of all the fluff. She got rid of all the crap, and she just did what the judges want to see, honestly. I'm curious to hear what the feedback was on this. I thought that was a very brave and a very smart move. She just showed her shape and just showed her poses. The judges don't need to see all that other stuff. They just don't. That was her full routine right there. Done. Right? She was done in a matter of 45 seconds. So for those of you that think you have to go out there and do this crazy routine in order to be noticed, you obviously do not have to do that. So, again, I felt like this was her best package all year. Her shape is just very, very good in general. Nice tight waistline. She was really well balanced. Where she needs to improve is she just needs a little bit more size in those shoulders and just a little bit more size in the glutes. That's with her being a tall girl. She's taller than me. She's 5'10". With her being a tall girl, size is always going to be the thing. And I said, especially for somebody like her, a late show that is at 7 o'clock at night or whatever is a good thing because you have the opportunity to have all day to fill out. So, so this was actually a really good opportunity for her. But yeah, I think this was a very good showing for her. And I know she's planning on taking some time off now at this point. So, but I wanted to highlight her routine specifically because she didn't do anything crazy. She just did a front, back, front, and got off stage. That's all you got to do. Right. So really good job there. And then lastly, we're going to bring up Maya, who again won the show and was our pick going in. Let me pull her front shot up here. She has a really good front shot. She was a little bit, I would like to see her stand up a little bit taller. She's a little bit squished here. So maybe just pull up and open a little bit. She's another one that probably could stand to kind of downplay this a little bit and upplay this right here, just to make herself look a little bit more balanced. But this could also be an in-between shot. It's kind of, no, she's kind of moving through it. She looks better in her comparisons, honestly, than she does in these shots as far as balance is concerned. But her conditioning was very good. I could see her needing to be a touch tighter. I think she was a little bit tighter at Battle of the Bodies. I thought that her package at Battle of the Bodies was actually a little bit better than here, but this was enough to win this show. And then when we turn it to the back, so again, she's got some good fullness to the glutes. Where she's going to have an issue at the Olympia is her legs overpowering, right? So got to work on just kind of pulling the glutes up a little bit more. This is a good pose. We just got to downplay this quad sweep a little bit here. And again, I felt like her pop was a little bit off. And this could just be like a glaze thing too. Like when I was watching it in person, I felt like she had more glaze on her when she was at Battle of the Bodies than what she had here. So I just like to see a little bit more fullness, like I saw at Battle of the Bodies. And again, I don't think this is bad. I just think that because I saw her so full and round and popping at Battle of the Bodies, that this is standing out as not being like that. You know what I mean? So I don't know what her plan is from here on out to Olympia, but probably take some time to kind of fill back out and give her a rest. I was wishing everyone else did front, back, front so I could enjoy the bikini routines. Well, I kind of, and I said this to Anne Marie when I was talking to her backstage. I sat and watched Men's Physique. This is the first time that I've actually sat through Men's Physique in a long time. And all I could think the whole time was, oh my God, they're doing so much crap in their routines. I wish they would just move on. That's all I could think the whole time. And I was like, oh, this must be what people think when they watch Bikini. That's all I could think. I was like, oh, okay, this makes more sense. This is what people see when they watch Bikini girls do all this crazy crap, because I literally have no interest in Men's Physique. I just don't. I'm sorry, you guys I'm no disrespect, but I'm sure they have no interest in Bikini either. You know what I mean? So I'm watching this and I want to be well-rounded and I want to be able to understand how the whole division is going and things like that. But I was watching these routines. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, guys, just chill. It's just too much. It's too much, you guys. So I really enjoyed the fact that Anne Marie did the simple routine. I thought that was very, very good. So just a heads up for all you bikini pros out there. Simple is better in a lot of cases. Just going to put that out there. Okay. So let's wrap this up by talking about the whole natural show aspect, right? So I get this question a lot. And when it comes to a natural show, I really think that being natural, I totally agree, being natural is it's a personal choice, first of all, and it's also a personal definition, personal conviction, right? As far as what you consider to be natural and what you don't. There are so many different definitions of the word natural. When you relate it to even just food and the stipulations that you have to have in order to put natural onto food that's in the grocery store. It's basically they're saying that you can't have it enhanced with like, I don't even know. I looked up the definition or something like that, but it's very, very broad. And I feel like that's the case here. So I wanted to share a couple of things. I wanted to share some of the things that people wrote into me as far as what they felt like the definition of natural was, just so that you can get an idea of how different people view this particular word, right? Ultimately, you have to sleep with a good conscience at night. Personal decision. Correct. Exactly. Right. So here's one. I'll share this one. I'm going to share a few of them that came in just so you can see. Okay, so this was one of the definitions that somebody sent in, and it was never use something not over the counter with the exception of diuretics since effect is only temporary. So this was somebody's definition of natural right here. And I'm not going to say if I agree or disagree with these kinds of things or whatever, but with this particular definition, there are diuretics that were technically banned at this natural show. So this particular definition probably would not have worked for this natural show because diuretics, some diuretics actually are on the banned list for this natural Ben Weider show. So just as a FYI on that. And there is a list of that on Gary Udit's site as well as far as what was banned and what was not, that kind of thing. Here's another one that I'll share. Somebody wrote in. Be natural and abstain from steroids and PEDs, test free of banned substances. So this is, probably something that a lot of people would consider to be, the definition of natural, that kind of thing. But what constitutes as being test free of banned substances, right? So there's ways to take stuff and not have it in your system so that you don't test positive, right? So where's the statute of limitations? Where does that end? If you took steroids a year ago, you're not going to test positive. So you're going to test free of banned substances, right? So are you still considered natural, right? From what I understood, you just have to be able to pass the urine test so you can be on a cycle, stop the cycle far enough out to not have it show up. Correct. Exactly. That's what I'm saying right here. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. She goes, oh man, you said it as I typed it. Correct. That's right. So there's that. Let's see. Here's one that some people may agree with, some people may not. I think hormone replacement with the doctors is amazing, but it is an advantage and not natty. So somebody believes that hormone replacement therapy means that you are not natural. When other people will say, well, I'm just taking HRT in order to be a normal level, right? So, that's which one is correct, right? That's a personal decision. Some people will think that HRT does still mean that you're natural because you are taking it under a doctor's advisement. Some other people will think that you're not, right? Because you are replacing hormones, right? Natural shows polygraph to test for those that lie. Obviously, this too can be fooled, but less likely. Well, there was no polygraph at this particular show. There's no polygraph. So every natural show has different standards as well as far as how they test. Okay. Let's see. So here's another one we'll share. So many valid opinions here. I see so many who think I'm natty because what I use is legal. This particular person was talking about hormone replacement therapy. This particular person also said that they did not feel that they were natural because they are on HRT, but it's legal and it's under doctor advisement. So some people would think that she is, but she actually thinks that she is not. So again, what is your definition? What is your definition, right? With urine tests, only many water-based PEDs can clear the system in 10 days, and the results will hold for more than a month. Correct. That's right. So, let's see what else we got. What else I want to share here? And of course, this is the one that most people assume that other people think, which is this right here. Someone that has never taken any PEDs at all, ever. That's what most people, I would say most people assume that's what natural means, but that is not the case. There are lots of different definitions of that word, as you can see just from the ones that I've shared today, right? So what are your thoughts about implants? Promise I've seen that. We're not going to talk about implants because that's a whole other subject. Okay. Different federations have different requirements. I'm on a medication that's fine in the NPC, but banned in other federations, but it makes my life worth living. That's right. Exactly. That's right. In some federations too, they have stipulations where they say something like you have to have been off of all of these different PEDs and things like that for 5 years. If you haven't taken anything in 5 years, then you technically can compete in this natural federation. There's different rules for every federation. So the last one that I wanted to show is this one, because this right here is the truth when it comes to this particular show. Being able to piss clean at the time of competing. And that's the bottom line, you guys. At a show like the one that we just saw this past weekend, if you can piss clean, you can compete, right? Now, some people may not agree with this. Some people may not think that this is correct. Some people may not think that this is on their moral compass or whatever it may be. But this is the bottom line. If you pee clean, you are eligible to compete. That's it, right? So that leaves it wide open for interpretation. That leaves it wide open for every definition of what people think, who they think is natural, who they don't think is natural. And it really comes down to your own personal definition, right? Like somebody else said, you've got to be able to look yourself in the mirror at the end of the so make you giggle. I wasn't going to say who wrote that in, but yes, it was Jennifer that wrote that in. But it's true. That's the truth. The bottom line is if you pee clean, you are not breaking the rules of a natural show in this particular natural show. That's it, right? So, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what I think is right and what I think is wrong. But what I believe that you need to have what your definition of natural is, and that's what you stick to. That's it, right? And you can be natural or you cannot be. That is your call. That is your decision as far as what you want to do and what your personal conviction is. But the bottom line is that if you don't pee clean if you pee clean for a show, you are not breaking the rules. That's it, right? And that is why, and I've said this several times, that is why I believe that natural shows are bullshit. Because you have some of your biggest offenders that compete in natural federations that to them, they actually believe that they are natural, but to a lot of people, they're not, So, those are the things like I go back to, I had some people ask me, why do you think that the NPC or that they don't do more natural shows in the IFBB and NPC? And the bottom line is because if you really want to get around the tests, you can. So, that's the bottom line. There's people that will get around the tests. That's it. So unfortunately, that's the case. It is what it is. And the other part of it too is that you have to understand that even when you get outside of that natural show, you're going up against people that are not natural. So when you qualify for the Olympia out in a natural show, you are going to the Olympia that is not tested. So you have to be willing to be going up against that kind of competition. So at the end of the day, I believe you have to create your definition of the word, and then you create what your personal conviction is and what you want to stick to, and what you want to follow. I'm not going to tell you you're right or wrong, right? That's it. What outside agency can verify if my pee is clean? I'd have to find out the last minute after I paid for travel. That I don't know. That would be something to talk to a promoter about specifically, right? I don't know. Blood testing is way too expensive, right? Yes, it is. It's very expensive. Yes. I'm natural in every definition, but the reality is you just got to piss clean, kiddos. That's the reality of the situation. It is. It just is what it is. So, buck up, buttercup, I don't know what else to tell you. And again, that's why I think, that's why I really think that a lot of natural federations are bullshit, because there are people in those federations that just know how to get around the testing. They just know how to get around the testing, you know? So that's my 2 cents. I did a whole in-depth live feed about this particular subject, last year and everything. And I read off, like close to 100 different things, and all of the definitions of natural were different. People have different definitions of natural, right? So whatever your definition is, again, stick to it. That's it. That's all you can control. All you can control is you and your actions. That's it. So, the lie detector is BS. Yeah, and they don't do a lie detector at this particular show. Usually you only pee after win. And that's also the case. A lot of times these shows, every show is different as far as what their stipulations are. So a lot of shows will only pee test the winners, that kind of thing, whatever. So, you need to understand that. And also I'll put my own story out there. When I was in the NPC, prior to sticking with the NPC, and this was one of the reasons why I stuck with the NPC, by the way, I did a natural federation. I did a natural federation for one show. It was considered to be one of their national shows. It was a big, huge show, right? And I actually placed 4th in this particular show in my class. And the way that this particular show was set up, it was a P test, and everybody got tested. So, and it was a 2-day show. So we got tested on the first day, which was pre-judging. The second day was finals. So when we came back for finals, in my class alone, there were 4 girls that got DQ'd for popping positive on their P test. 4. And on the score sheets, I still beat every one of them. And they all took banned substances. So that, to me, solidified in my mind that I wasn't going to do national federations. I'm just saying. That part, we win a natural show, get Olympia qualification, compete against folks, all sorts of stuff. Then what? Cry the blues when it wasn't fair. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's right. Exactly. That's right. Yep. So, yeah. So you just, again, you gotta know what you're stepping up against. You know what you're stepping up against. That's it. So, I know a known doper who is a PCB pro. Yeah, I mean, it's true. It happens in every federation. So, again, I'm going to go back to whatever your definition is, whatever you believe is what you need to stick to. And again, it doesn't mean that you have to be natural. It doesn't mean that you have to or anything. I just think that you should draw your line in the sand, and that's your line in the sand, right? And that's all you can control. You can't control the other people around you. You can't control what they're going to do. You can't control if they're going to try and get around the tests. You can't do all those things, or you would drive yourself crazy, right? And just like Jennifer just said right here, you win a natural show, you get Olympia qualification. You have to still compete against those Olympia athletes. You still have to be able to step up there with them. So, right? So any questions? This was a long one, I know, but I wanted to go ahead and wrap that up right there. As long as you don't piss positive, you're good. That's it. That's the bottom line. So, and the other part of that too is that a lot of people, get accused of taking stuff when they actually don't. There's some that are just genetically gifted. There are some people that are just genetically gifted. Ronnie Coleman came out and talked about this recently. He was natural all the way up until he started competing in the pro league. Like that's bodybuilding, right? So there's just some people that have genetically been blessed. They've been blessed, so you cannot just judge somebody by looking at them either, right? So any other questions, guys? I know that was a long one. And we got more coming up. Oh my God, there's more shows coming again. So tomorrow night, I'm actually going to do a teaching live. I'm going to show you guys how to stuff bikini tops tomorrow night. Because this is the number one thing that I have to show girls. All of the girls that I work with is how to stuff their bikini top. So we're going to do that tomorrow. We're going to do that live, and I'm going to show you how to do it. It makes a world of difference. So talking about not natural, right? Get some pillow stuffing. Get ready. But yeah, it was a great show weekend. I am sort of kind of back to normal. I got a normal night of sleep last night, finally, thank God. So we're rolling right forward right now. So oh, is there a showed up with Nick Walker? Would she be penalized? Oh my gosh, that is a completely separate, different topic. So we're not gonna dive into that. That would be another 20 minutes of talk. We'll talk about that another time. All right, you guys. I know it was a long one, but thank you for sticking with me. Appreciate it. And build a bra, yeah. Build a bra like Build a Bear. Yep. Build some boobs. I don't have to tune in tomorrow. Well, men that are on here right now, you can help your girlfriends and wives do this, or coaches, you can help your clients do this, or show them or tell them how to do this, right? This is important. I can't be at every show. You boys need to know how to do this too. This is important to build a bra. I need to reverse stuff, pack them into, yeah, right? Yeah, to make them look balanced. I know. I don't have to stuff mine either. But for tomorrow, I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay. So with that, I'm going to let y'all go. I hope this helped, with some of the definitions and things like that, and just kind of, solidifying what you thought or whatever, all of those kinds of things. But the bottom line is you got to be responsible for you, and that's it. Don't worry about the rest, because you can't control them. You can only control yourself. And stick to what you decide to do, whatever it may be, however far you want to go. You need to stick to your guns, right? Okay. And with that, if you want to work with me, ZooSymposium.com is where you're going to go. We do hair, makeup, suit symposium, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. Get your kitties conquer the stage tickets. If you have your ticket, we have the hotel booking link in the private Facebook group now for all of our ticket holders. So make sure you're in there. If you have a ticket and you're not in our group, you need to get in our group. So make sure you go get in our group, get your hotel room, all of that. And I think that's it. All right, guys, it's a long one. Appreciate you sticking around. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8:15, and I'll show you how to stuff a bra, build a bra. We're going to build a bra. All right. I'm going to X out of YouTube first.